Good afternoon. Welcome to Africa Today. I am Jessica Magaji Joseph. First, the headlines. Nigerian government opens IDP camps as flood submerges 70% of Maiduguri. New president of UN General Assembly calls for unity to tackle borderless issues. UN says warring parties in Sudan are disregarding international law. And on sport, Rwanda coach announces retirement plans after draw with Super Eagles. Now the news in detail. Thousands of Maiduguri inhabitants have been displaced, with the Nigerian Correctional Service recapturing 3 inmates after a jailbreak, while 80% of animals at the Sanda Kiarimi Park Zoo died as Borno State suffered its most devastating flood disaster in 30 years. Following the disaster, President Bola Tinubu, who is currently abroad, called for the immediate evacuation of residents in communities overtaken by floods. 70% of Maiduguri, the Borno State capital, has been submerged by the fast-moving waters, according to the National Emergency Management Agency, while the flood also ravaged other major city locations, including the Palace of the Shehu of Borno, Garba El Kanemi, the State Secretariat Post Office, Cemetery, amongst others. About 70% of the town is already underwater, so many people are trapped as the flood intensified. When people were sleeping, some people woke up to discover that they were inside water. The NEMA spokesperson said Borno's flat ground geology made it easier for water to flow into passages areas in Maiduguri city, adding that the flood began after the Alao Dam overflowed following heavy rains. The Jigawa state government has approved infrastructure development projects worth over 300 billion naira, targeting significant improvement in the state road network, education, and healthcare sectors. During a state executive council meeting yesterday, Governor Malam Umar Namadi reaffirmed the government's commitment to sustainable infrastructure development. These projects are designed to drive economic growth, improve living standards, and position Jigawa State as a hub for investment and development, he stated. The governor announced that contracts have been awarded for the construction and rehabilitation of 45 roads covering 835.36 kilometers with a total investment of 300.46 billion naira. The Nigerian police force has said the 10,000 newly recruited constables and specialists who are currently undergoing training will be deployed in February 2025. It said the recruits would be deployed in their states of origin in line with the federal government's community policing initiative. Following a recruitment exercise, the Police Service Commission in June released a list of 10,000 successful applicants for employment. However, the police, under the leadership of the Inspector General of Police, Kayode Egbetokun, rejected the list, alleging corruption and demanding a fresh recruitment process, a demand that the PSC rejected, maintaining that the process was free and fair. After weeks of standoff, the police finally accepted the list in July and announced that 10,000 recruits will be sent for training. Speaking in an interview with newsmen on Tuesday, the force spokesperson, Muyiwa Adejobi, said the recruits training was being conducted in 16 police training institutions across the country. When we return, news from other parts of West Africa. Please stay with us. Welcome back. The 2024 Pan-African AI Conference in Lagos, co-hosted by the United States, is seen as a significant step in Africa's technological future. Tech leaders, academics, policymakers, and entrepreneurs from across Africa and beyond have gathered in Nigeria to discuss the opportunities and challenges raised by the development and use of artificial intelligence. Nigeria's Minister for Communications, Innovation and Digital Economy, Boshun Tijani, in his opening remarks said Nigeria and the world must ensure the digital transformation journey is inclusive, equitable, and human-focused.
For us to truly harness artificial intelligence for our collective benefit, we must be deliberate and collaborative in our approach. We must ensure that our digital transformation journey is inclusive, equitable, and human-focused.
Tijani also announced a $61,000 artificial intelligence fund for Nigeria's brightest AI startups. Set Center, acting special envoy for critical and emerging technology, said there were two main challenges with regards to the future of AI. Center added that the second challenge was to create the enabling business environment that can encourage the private sector to develop and to invest in Nigeria to enable the kind of AI build-out.
There are two real challenges, I think, that are most consequential as we think about the future of AI. One is to create the kind of safe and secure governance framework that is going to enable, not hinder, innovation, that can create confidence in citizens anywhere in the world, really, to use AI, to embed it in their lives. And the other challenge, I think, is to create the overall enabling business environment that can encourage the private sector to develop and to invest in Nigeria to enable the kind of AI build-out that I think is in our mutual interest.
The Nigeria and the United States collaboration highlighted the importance of cross-continental partnerships in driving technological innovation, with both countries recognizing the vast potential AI holds for economic and social development. Cameroon's former Prime Minister took over the presidency of the UN General Assembly on Tuesday, issuing a clarion call to the world's divided nations to come together and take action to address global challenges from climate change and poverty to conflict and armed violence. Philemon Yang told the 193 members world body they are doubt that nations can join forces to tackle these and other pressing issues. But he said most demonstrate that international cooperation remains the most effective tool at disposal for addressing the profound and borderless issues. Yang, a former diplomat who was Prime Minister of his West African nation from 2009 to 2019, said the cornerstone of his one-year presidency will be built on the principles of unity in diversity. He said peace and security will continue to be of paramount importance during his presidency. We move to other parts of Africa after this break. Please stay with us. Welcome back. UN Human Rights Deputy High Commissioner Nada al-Nashif said Tuesday the warring parties in the Sudan conflict are acting with total disregard for international law. Al-Nashif spoke at the 57th session of the UN Human Rights Council in Geneva, which is addressing various global issues including political unrest, regression on women's rights and freedom of press and expression. Last week, UN-backed human rights investigators urged the creation of an independent and impartial force to protect civilians in Sudan's war, blaming both sides for war crimes including murder, mutilation, and torture, on warning that foreign governments which arm and finance them could be complicit. The fact-finding team, in their first report since being created by the UN's main human rights body in October, also accused the paramilitary rapid support forces, which are fighting Sudan's army and its allies, of crimes against humanity, including rape, sexual slavery, and persecution on ethnic or gender grounds. The experts called for the expansion of an arms embargo on Sudan's long-restive Western Darfur region to the entire country. A strike by workers at Kenya's main international airport in Nairobi has caused flight delays and cancellations for both departing and arriving passengers, Kenya Airways said on Wednesday. The biggest union of Kenya's aviation workers said they would take industrial action on Wednesday over a proposed deal for India's Adani Group to lease Jomo Kenyatta International Airport for 30 years. The Kenya Aviation Workers Union, which represents airport workers, said the proposed agreement announced in July would lead to job losses and bring in non-Kenya workers. Kenya's government has said the airport is operating above capacity and need modernizing, but that it is not for sale. It says that no decision has been made on whether to proceed with what it calls a proposed public-private partnership to upgrade the site. Up next is business. Please stay with us. Welcome back. And on business news, the Nigerian naira has lost further ground against the United States dollar, with the exchange rate hitting 1,637.59 naira at the close of trading on Tuesday. According to data from the Nigeria Autonomous Foreign Exchange, the naira depreciated by 14.63 naira against the dollar, down from 1,622.96 naira on Monday. This decline marks a 0.90% drop in the value of the naira against the dollar, making it more expensive for Nigerians to purchase foreign goods and services. The FMDQ data showed the foreign exchange market witnessed a significant turnover of $143.15 million, indicating a high level of trading activity. The naira witnessed a tumultuous trading session against the dollar on Tuesday, with the spot rate closing at 1,637.59 naira, a slight appreciation of 3.61 naira from the opening rate. However, the forward rate told a different story, with a high of 1,655 naira and a low of 1,499 naira, indicating significant fluctuations in the market. Botswana economic growth is expected to slow to 1% in 2024, primarily because of a diamond market contraction before picking up next year. Inflation has declined sharply since the peak of mid-2022 and returned to the central bank's medium-term objective range of 3 to 6%, where it is expected to remain in the medium term. The government plans a fiscal expansion in FY 2024, followed by 2 years of substantial fiscal adjustment. Public debt is low, but government deposits at the central bank have significantly reduced over the past decade. The financial sector is sound, stable, and resilient. Washington, D.C. On August 28, 2024, the Executive Board of the International Monetary Fund concluded the Article IV consultation with Botswana and endorsed the staff appraisal without a meeting on a lapse of time basis. Botswana economic growth decelerated from 5.5% in 2022 to 2.7% in 2023, below the long-run potential growth of 4%. A sharp decline in diamond trading and mining activities was the main contributor to the slowdown, as global demand for rough diamonds decreased. Inflation has remained below the ceiling of the central bank's medium-term objective range since July 2023. Despite lower diamond exports, FX reserves increased in 2023, supported by higher custom union receipts. The financial sector is broadly sound, stable, and resilient. Still to come, sports. Please stay with us. Welcome back. And on sports news, Amavubi of Rwanda head coach Torsten Spittler has announced plans to quit coaching when his contract expires in November. The German took charge of the Amavubi in November 2023. There are no talks of extending his stay yet, leaving his future on Amavubi touchline up in the air. The Amavubi have improved significantly since he took charge of the team. The East Africans currently top their 2026 FIFA World Cup qualifying group ahead of powerhouse South Africa and Nigeria. Jose Pesiro will attend the African Coaches Symposium in Abidjan, Côte d'Ivoire on Thursday. The former Super Eagles head coach is among the panelists selected by the Confederation of African Football to attend the two-day event. Côte d'Ivoire AFCON 2023 winning coach Emas Faye is also on the list of the panelists. 50 coaches from CAF's member association are also expected to be in attendance. The CAF Coaches Symposium will focus on the performance of national teams during the 2023 Africa Cup of Nations. CAF President Patrice Motsepe Ivorian government officials, and FIF President Yassine Idris will open the event. And that's the sport news on Africa Today. We move to the rest of the news after this break. Please stay with us.
This is Hillstv. Quality broadcasting is what we'll bring to you. Now we be this
Welcome back. And now to the rest of the news. Zamfara State chapter of the People's Democratic Party has accused the Minister of State Defense, Bello Mohammed Matawale, of using his position to coerce the state government to dialogue with bandit leaders. This was contained in a statement issued by the state publicity secretary of the party, Haliru Andi, describing the former governor's efforts as misguided and disingenuous. He said it contradicts the PDP-led government's commitment to a firm and non-negotiable stance against terrorism. The PDP also debunked a viral memo alleging that Governor Dauda Lawal approved the sum of over 1.3 billion naira to finance reconciliation efforts with bandit leaders in the state. The statement described the memo as entirely false, orchestrated by the opposition APC, and as a blatant attempt to discredit Governor Lawal's genuine efforts to combat insecurity. This misinformation is a desperate attempt to undermine Governor Lawal's firm stance against negotiation with terrorists, it claimed. It further stressed that the governor had consistently opposed reconciliation with bandits, deeming it as a superficial solution that fails to address the root of the problem. Instead, the statement called on the APC-led administration in the country to use its control over the military and police forces to confront bandits with decisive action. And that's Africa Today. But before we go, here are the headlines again. We told you that Nigerian government opens IDP camps as flood submerges 70% of Maiduguri. New president of UN General Assembly calls for unity to tackle borderless issues. UN says warring parties in Sudan are disregarding international law. And on sport, Rwanda coach announces retirement plans after draw with Super Eagles. Remember to visit us on Facebook at Hillstv Abuja, Instagram at Hillstv Abuja, and subscribe to our YouTube channel at Hillstv. I am Jessica Magaji Joseph. Thanks for watching.